Good evening and welcome to African Voices platform. I'm your host, Shiwe Chihana. A few months after ousting President Alpha Condé in September 2021, Guinea's military leaders are facing increasing pressure to set out an election timetable. The United Nations, the African Union and ECOWAS all condemned the move, and the latter two have suspended Guinea's membership. But a lot more is going on in Guinea and the wider ECOWAS region, including the climate and ecological crisis, which saw devastating floods in the capital, Conakry. Today, my co-host Bailo Jallo and I are joined by Mamadou Aliou Bah. He is a health, safety, environment and community specialist with over 10 years experience in the mining sector in Guinea. Bailo, good evening.
Good evening.
Really excited about this show. So we're going to be unpacking quite a few things. We'll be talking the environment, we'll be talking about Alpha Condé and where we are currently in Guinea.
Yes, indeed. We'll be talking quite a lot. And guess what? A lot is happening in Guinea, as you mentioned in the intro there. Right now, there is pressure on the military junta and the wider region. Yesterday, we had what happened in Mali. Yeah, sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Right, then really pleased to have our guest join us. Mr. Mamadou, welcome to African Voices platform tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you to everyone. And I'm very pleased to be with you guys this morning.
Really pleased to have you on the show. So for context, can we just start with the crisis that devastated people in Guinea quite recently? What happened?
Right. Actually, the content in Guinea is quite different. As you guys know, is exceptional periods, and we are living in a transition. Actually, after being something like 10 to 11 years with Alpha Condé ruling the country, and then he was overthrown by the junta that are ruling exactly the country for the moment. And we can say, for now, up to now, since September the 5th, they took the power. We can say they're having good relationship and reliable. The population for the moment is trusting the junta. So let's say for something like 70 or 80 or 90%, all the decisions that have been taken from the junta have been accepted more or less by the population. Let's say for something like about 80%, let's say. But for the moment, people are having hope, and people are having thought that the junta will change and will end up with good, clear and fair election by the end of this transition. So that is the hope, that is the aim anyway, for the most important thing. As you know, a transition is always political, and you do transition for politicians to come to the power. So the hope that we got is that the junta will organize at the end of the day and fair and clear election, and will hand out the power to civilians.
That is interesting to hear that, Mr. Bah. As you mentioned, just 3 months back when the junta took over, specifically on the 5th of September, you know, we saw people dancing all over the country, including in the capital, Conakry, and in the Kominde Ratoma area, where people will say that was the place that suffered the most during Alpha Condé's regime, where we saw over 100 people killed, many of their supporters detained, and also many of the supporters of the UFDG party, which is the main opposition party in Guinea, also detained. But having said that, like you said, after the military took over, everyone was dancing. But recently, people are seeing the military as also trying to deviate from their promises. That is, we've seen some recent decisions that were taken. Like you said earlier, maybe 80% of their decisions have been welcome in the capital or in the country. But recently, that has started to shift. What's your take on it, and what has been the take of the population in general, especially we saw the renaming of the airport to late Ahmed Sékou Touré, who was the first president of the country, and also the decision to say Alpha Condé has been released and he's free to go anywhere he feel like to seek medical treatment.
Right, and you got those things right. But let me start from the one you ended up with, saying that Alpha Condé has been freed and he's out of the country and this and that. But for the moment, the only thing that I can say, as really an observer, a political situation observer in the country, but for the moment, we can rely on the official information saying that Alpha Condé have been authorized to go out wherever he wants to go for medical treatment for something like 1 month, and then having guarantee from ECOWAS members that Alpha Condé will come back after his medical treatment. Until further notice, if the doctors say that, oh, we need him again, he should stay again for medical reason, so that he will be out of the country. But otherwise, the authorization that have been given is for him to go for treatment after 1 month treatment and come back in the country. But up to now, we don't have any official information saying that Alpha Condé have left the country. So we, for the moment, I really cannot confirm that information. There are some rumors, but because I'm afraid to comment some the rumors. In terms of Alpha Condé going out or not, that's the little, I'm sorry, that I have to say about it. Maybe I may not satisfy what you wanted to hear or to understand more, but I like to stick on the official informations and not comment.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I'm not in anyhow trying for you to say or for you to say he has left the country or not. That's not me trying to say that. What I'm trying to get an insight of is to understand how is the population feeling about that decision.
Yeah, it has been approved and accepted more or less by some others, by a group, by the and not by the other group, because some are saying that when Alpha Condé is out of the country, he will be, or he will stay, he will be a threat for the country. Maybe he will come back with another force to get back his power, because he's convinced that he's been elected by Guineans and then had been overthrown 1 year later by a junta. So people are thinking, some of the population, a part of the population are thinking that way, saying that when he is outside, he will be a threat for us. And the others are saying, no, there's no problem. He can go for treatment then and come back. So that's the thing. But saying that 100% everybody agree on the decision, no. As you guys know, no decision will be approved 100%. So some are having fear and some are happy, dancing and glad, because I've seen some members of his political party dancing and celebrating that decision, saying that he is authorized to go out of the country for medical treatment. Some are happy, but some are taking it as a threat. It will not be good. Maybe for the country, when he's outside, he will try to revenge and come back to get his power. So that's the thing exactly on that point.
Thanks a lot for that. I wondered, seeing as you've got quite vast experience in the mining sector in Guinea, Doumbouya is largely believed not to have been involved, to have benefited in terms of him individually from what the proceeds of the mining industry in Guinea, and that the political elite who were cashing in did not include him at the time. So how is that going currently? I mean, are the people being empowered by the quantities of bauxite, iron, gold, the diamonds in Guinea, now that you have Doumbouya, who himself was not party to this?
Thank you very much. But I think this thing is not a matter of Doumbouya himself. Mm-hmm. I know when he was not ruling the country, when Alpha Condé was not there, he was really not involved in anything. He was just commander of this special force, that he was only involved in the military issues and stuff, not any other political decision and not. And now, actually, he is ruling the country as he is the president of the CNLD. But it's not saying that he is not personally involved.
So could you just, for our viewers who will not understand the context of Guinea, so CNLD, could you just say what that is?
CNLD, but I will have to translate it in French because
that's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. When he took power and he declined, and that was the day that CNLD was created. It's just like a commission that is the little commission that is ruling the country. So it's National Commission that is aiming for development and for unity. And so that's what he means by the CNLD. When we come back to the mining sector, when Doumbouya came to power, he didn't stop anything from the mine. He didn't stop no company. And he said that they can continue working, but by respecting Guinea law, by respecting everything that has been signed with between them and the former president, the former government, the former regime. So he didn't interrupt anything, and he did not involve in anything. He let them continue working, and he asked them to continue working, but by respecting all what have been signed between them and the former regime.
And to be clear, the largest partner in the mining industry in Guinea is China. It's not the people themselves of Guinea. It's external. It's a foreign actor that owns most of the mines in Guinea. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's SMB.
Okay. And
Société Minière de Bouquet.
Lovely, thanks. And you, in your case, as a local Guinean, what has been your personal involvement in the mining sector? Because we do have that as something that you've done for quite a while now. What's your expertise?
Right, my expertise in the safety. I was doing safety in the mine. I've been for something like up to 10 to 15 years, but I was only doing safety, the HSE, the health and safety and environment, and then the community development. That's what I've been doing from start to end, and having all the highest position in the mining sector, and been working with all mining companies except Chinese company. I didn't have chance yet to work with Chinese company, or let me say I didn't have chance.
All right. So then my follow-up question, the reason I was asking you this is because, of course, with your vast expertise in tackling environmental challenges, the crisis, how do you think the future of the mining industry is looking like in Guinea now, especially that is an extractive industry and less encouraging, I think, when it comes to the climate and ecological crisis?
Of course. And you know, always those things does much exploitation and conservation. They don't really match, because when you talk about exploitation, you're talking about destruction. You destroy. And then the environment, the most important thing, or the ideal thing for the environment, is to be protected, is to be conserved, and to let it as it was. But if any company cannot stay without destroying, but there are some rules and policy that needs to be respected. And when you destroy, then afterward you cover everything that you have destroyed. So that's why they got a document that they say that you previously supposed to sign with the government, which respect all environmental aspects, community aspects, and before you going forward to start your exploitation. But now sometimes what have been noticed, all those things, all those procedures that have been signed with the government by those companies not being respected exactly. That's why sometimes we're having some failures in the mining sector regarding the environment.
Right. So not just the mining sector, but in general, in terms of respecting the environment. Do you think that part of that explains what happened in Conakry when we had these devastating floods recently? I'm sure it's not just the mining sector, it's the bigger picture.
The biggest issue in Guinea, because honestly, the country is not industrialized. We got some little industries and stuff, but which can really hit the head is the mining companies. Because mining companies, we got a lot of them. We got some in many zones, many areas in the country. So they are the most important, the important one to be reached, to get stopped or to get some procedures to be respected, because otherwise we got some other industry like some small factories that we got here. So, but their case are different from the miners, because the miners, they really destroy. They come with bulldozers and stuff to get rid of the bush and then try to establish and then start working. You got the soil erosion, you got water erosion, you got for instance, you got the pollution, the air pollution, water pollution, and then the community that living around, they got pollution there. So that's why we making bigger focus on them sometimes. But otherwise, we got some small industries that are in Conakry that's continue working. But as you may know, the country is not that much industrialized. So, and as you can notice, it whole Africa is not industrialized. The pollution from Africa is just something like more or less 3%.
3 to 5, yeah. 3 to 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5% pollution from the worldwide. So, which is extremely different, which is can be even neglected regarding the West.
I just wanted to ask you, whilst we're still on the mining sector, recently there were several protests in the mining areas like Bokeh, where they were protesting that they had no electricity, they had no water, yet we've got so many mining companies extracting billions of dollars in that area. You know, what benefit has the mining sector brought to the ordinary Guinean, if there is any?
Yeah, that's what has been protested all over for these past 10 years. That's what people are saying. We are not having benefits of all those mines, because it has been even doubled or tripled from before the former regime was there, and now the regime ended. The ended regime has tripled even the exploitation of the bauxite in the country, but people are still struggling to get the way out, to get the benefits of that exploitation in the mining sector, in the mining zone. When you take for instance Bokeh, they always protest there for work, for electricity and stuff like that, and that's why the most important thing is to sensitize people maybe in the environment, but nobody will protest for environment or for environmental destruction or other thing. That's really the upside down. That's why I said people need to be educated on the environmental sector, on the environmental side. People need to be sensitized. All the protests that are taking place there is about job, how to get employed, how local people can be employed, how local people can be involved in the mining sector, in the exploitation. So people, that's right, people are protesting, saying that they are not having benefit of it, and that's factual. That's a fact.
So generally, what has been the impact of climate change in Guinea?
The impact, actually, I can say generally, because you know, when it's come to environment, when the impact or the damage is caused somewhere, let's say the United States or the UK or something like that, there is damage there, it can impact worldwide. That's why environment, let me come to another point, that's why the environmental issue needs to be taken as priority. And now, as for Guinea, we are not industrialized. Whole Africa is not industrialized, but we are victim of the West. But now let me come to Guinea side. Actually, the impact that we got here, the rain is now less. We used to have regular basis. We have to regularly used to have the rain in Guinea, especially when you take the forest side, in the south of the country. The south of the country, we used to have 9 months rainy season, 9 months out of 12. So which was really regular basis. And now actually we're struggling even to have 6 months raining. So that's some of the impacts that we're having. And now, and the temperature is going high and higher every day in the country. So things are changing in a daily basis. The country is getting hot. Actually, this is 12 o'clock, but it's really hot in the country. But that's the impact of the climate change in the country. Those are, let me say, the direct impacts.
Aliou, can you clarify here? Because speaking of the rain, that the forest area of Guinea, which is the southern region of Guinea, used to have quite a lot of rain. But yet, Conakry, when we see as well, recently in the last 2 years, the rain has come so much where we see many parts of Conakry gets flooded.
Yeah, but look, sometimes people are getting this thing wrong. Excuse me, this flooding thing, sometimes it can be a lack of respect of the environmental issue. Let me explain this point to you guys. When you cut trees, you carry on cutting trees, even though when there is a little rain, the rain can drain the water inside the city, and then the little rain can come inside the city. When rain comes inside the city, and then it will cause flooding, and you will say that it's because there's been lots of rain. And sometimes the cause can be because people are cutting trees. When you cut trees, nothing can retain or we can give other direction to the water, so it will come inside the city. When it comes inside the city, it causes flooding. So of course, too much rain can cause it, but sometimes, most of the time, it's been caused by cutting trees. When you cut trees, so the water gets drainage and come inside the city and cause flooding, and people will die.
Will you say that is also probably, that can also be put to probably to the lack of good drainage system in the capital?
Of course, it can be. It can be a lack of good drainage system, and it can be even cutting trees. But when you cut so much trees, nothing will retain the water, nothing will retain the drainage. So it will come straight into the city. It will follow let me say, the road, the streets, and come inside the city and then cause flooding. So that's why it's important to stop cutting trees.
Right. So let's move on and let's come back to the political situation right now in Guinea. Just yesterday, there was a decree by the current junta. Since they took over, the junta has not yet announced when they will relinquish power, when they will lead the country into a democratic election. When they took power, they said they will announce it soon. And that has been going on for over 3 months. And just recently, they said that was going to be led by a CNT committee. That is, for people to understand, Guinea have a political system where they elect members of parliament, which are called deputy in Guinea. But now those deputies or those MPs, since the military took over, they have suspended everything. So now they are saying they are going to organize a committee of CNT members. Those CNT members are going to be 81 of them. Yeah. And out of those 81, the military have taken 35. They've given the opposition 15, and the civil society and other organizations the rest.
With these, sorry, can I just check with both of you my understanding of the country's political system? So those deputy parliamentarians, were they also parliamentarians? There were senior parliamentarians when you say they're deputy parliamentarians?
Before they were elected, but now that has been suspended. So now they will be appointed.
So MP members of parliament will all be appointed going forward rather than being elected by the electorate. I see.
Yes.
Just temporarily whilst you have the military junta, or?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. They won't be elected by the population. They will be appointed, and then there will be 81, as you said it, and they will decide when, as the military junta had said, those people. They will decide when the transition will end. They will decide the terms of the period for the transition. If there is something that people are regretting during this transition, is that because no date have been given yet up to now. But, but Doumbouya said once the CNT will be put in place, and they will start working, and they will give the period of time in which they will stay in power.
But now my question to you, so now my question to you is that decree that was announced yesterday on national television, because first, like I said, political parties were told to bring their own members. Civil society organizations were told to bring their own members. And the political parties and some other organizations have brought in their own members, but there were no consensus in the members that were brought forward. So as a result, over 700 people have applied for those positions. And now the regime is arguing there are only 81 posts, and out of 81, 700 people have applied for these posts. So now they are saying now political parties or civil societies will no more have a say on the members that they bring in. So now it's the military or the CNRD that are going to decide. How has that been received by the population? And what's the patience of the population right now?
Yeah, exactly what you said. That's factual. That's the truth. That's the reality on the ground. But that's why, because of all what you have just listed, that's why today.
It seems like we've lost Mr. Bah there, as he was trying to explain about the current political situation in Guinea, about the members of parliament, as we know them over here in the UK. Chief, I don't know, what do you understand from what he was trying to say?
I think I got that. I mean, it just gave me similar knowledge to what happened in Sudan when we're looking at a transition government. It sounds like this is what is potentially being suggested, except maybe the makings of it is very different. It's not the electorate that's deciding who belongs to this particular commission or committee, as you will, but that these will be put forward by the political elite, so the people will have less say. But that ties in really well to a point that I wanted to discuss with all amongst all of us, was from a West Africa perspective, for example, in particular, actually. And this is probably a very Western narrative, so I'm going to put that forward first. That the West Africa is considered to have high numbers of regimes of intolerance or dissent or patronage that is based on tribal loyalties. Some have described corruption and general mismanagement. So what we have seen with Doumbouya is that whilst the process has been through a coup, there are some electorates who are actually saying they like that they have Doumbouya, and some people within the West African region where they've experienced military coups seem to have a favorable opinion of these military leaders. I wonder whether that is also going to be adding up to creating fertile ground for military coups, more military coups on the continent. And I wonder whether you had any thoughts on that, Bailo.
Well, in terms of Guinea, where Guinea was, Doumbouya came in at a time when all Guineans were kind of frustrated with the past regime. He came in at a time when even those who supported the former regime, that is Alpha Condé or the RPG party, were already frustrated. And when Alpha Condé decided to change the constitution to stand in for a third term, there were even people in his own political party who were against that decision. There were people in his own stronghold who were against that decision. So basically, Doumbouya came in at a time when Guineans needed him. And since the coup d'etat, took over in Guinea, which arguably many people are saying it's not a coup d'etat, there was not a single Guinean who came out to say, look, this is a coup d'etat, it was wrong. So even Alpha Condé himself, I believe, wherever he was or wherever he is, would have noticed, look, people were kind of fed up with his own regime. So basically in Guinea's context, people supported the military, or people still support the military takeover. But having said that, they wanted just the military to intervene in order to put Mr. Condé aside and organize a free and fair election. And when Mr. Doumbouya took over, that was the promise, or that is the promise he made. But the concerns that many Guineans are currently having is that since he took over 3 months down the line, he's refused to give any date. And just by the end of last year or early this year, January, he gathered all the diplomats in the country, ambassadors in the region and Western ambassadors. He said, look, we are on the right track, but I don't want you guys to put any pressure on me. What does that indicate? People are asking, what does he mean by, I don't want you guys to put any pressure on me? And down the line, looking at Mali, you know, where the military took over, they said they were going to hand power, you know, soon. And they promised February 2022. And just 2 weeks ago, they said, look, we will stay in power for 5 years, then we organize a transition.
So is this why ECOWAS stepped in yesterday on the issue of Mali? Then could you because I was chatting to you about this, and you seem to have a better insight into what was going on with Mali yesterday.
Yes, indeed. Basically, when a coup d'etat took place in Mali, ECOWAS negotiated with the military government in Mali, where the military government promised ECOWAS wanted for a transition of government just within 6 months. But the Malian government said, look, that's too harsh on us. We need more time. And they were given more time. Whilst they were suspended on ECOWAS membership, there were sanctions put to the regime, but not harsher sanctions. Yet until recently, back in November, they had a meeting where the Malian government promised there will be election in six months' time. And that was meant to be taking place February 2022. Until recently, just 2 weeks ago, down the line, now they are saying, you know, the 6 months ago promise that we made, we will have elections in 6 months' time, February 2022, it's not going to go ahead. We will be in power until 5 years' time, where we will have all the logistics to organize a free and fair election. And ECOWAS yesterday had that meeting. They said, no, no, no. And to be honest, ECOWAS, for the first time in my own political career, I will say ECOWAS have made a right decision at the right time where people needed that kind of decision.
Yeah, no, that's very good, because we do take, on this show, we have taken ECOWAS to task and the SADC and the African Union to say, where are you when things are happening? So for once, we're saying we are pleased with ECOWAS. Well,
for once, people are saying they are pleased with ECOWAS, and Guinea people are watching keenly and carefully. And you know what? Prior to this decision, just 3 months back, when the military took over in Guinea, people in Guinea were reluctant of ECOWAS. They were saying, look, we don't want ECOWAS to come here. We don't want ECOWAS to lecture us on politics, because they were the same people who supported Alpha Condé. When I say support, I meant by being quiet, not doing anything when the constitution was tampered with, you know. So basically, people were frustrated with them. Citizens were saying, look, they only care about their interests. They're just trying to protect their own interests. So people were very, very reluctant on ECOWAS. But now that shift is changing. People are saying, look, you know, we need to be still friendly with ECOWAS. We've seen the decisions that they've taken in Mali, and yet probably those decisions will be coming towards Guinea, because up to now, the military have not yet announced a date that they will leave power. They've not yet, you know, decided anything. All they are saying, give us time, give us time. But the people are asking for a date. And just recently, the political parties came together, you know, where they've organized a committee, where they've written a formal letter to the current regime asking for a date, that they need a date. I think we've got Mamadou Aliou Bah back again. We lost him earlier.
As I was saying, actually, the thing that people are regretting much more, what people are demanding from the junta, is to give a time of period in which they will remain in power, because there are a lot of pressure now behind them. The ECOWAS, the international organizations, and then the United States. They even sent a missionary, someone that came and stayed something like 3 days in the country, and returned again. And then people are really demanding the date, the period of time they will remain in power. So we are still yet to have the date from the junta, but they end up saying that they will tell the date when the CNT will be in place, and those will decide, because they have got a lot to do. So before then, they cannot give any date. So we still remain on demanding.
Mr. Bah, that's very insightful. That's very insightful. I'm sorry, Bailo, I'll just jump into this. You talked about an American envoy coming into Guinea. And this, I'm assuming you're saying that the envoy was there to kind of discuss this transition period and to see if we could get a date for an election. So transitioning between the military and a civil government. What exactly is the role of foreign actors? And when I say foreign actors, I'm not necessarily speaking about foreign actors within the African continent, but the external actors that keep coming in and sort of giving us guidance on how we should be handling the challenges that our countries are facing. Why are they important, do you think?
Let me make it just clear. He already came and returned. That's already done. But he was not coming, right, to get involved on the political aspect, or to say to force or to make pressure to the military junta to give a date. No, is in terms of cooperation and collaboration between the two countries, and that when they come here for those relations, and they will by force talk about the transition, about the period, and about political aspects. So that's what was the thing.
So it was more about the cooperating, rather how the governments are going to cooperate under the new regime, rather than talking about this transition period specifically. I see.
No, not specifically talking about the transition, only saying that, no. The transition is really something which is a reality, is factual. We live in the transition, actually. But that can be on the table, because is the reality of the country. But he was not coming, as far as I'm informed, to put pressure on the junta. No, it was not to put pressure, because even the junta said they won't take any pressure from anybody else.
Right.
Can I just ask you, as someone in the ground right now, prior to the junta taking over the country, just last year I was in Guinea, Conakry, happens to be there. There were so many tensions among Guineans, you know. For instance, someone from the Kominde Ratoma area, I wouldn't say wouldn't go in certain areas, but there was that tension between Guineans, between the Malinkes and the Fulanis, you know, and the Susus. Some people get accused of, you are the beneficiaries of the current government. Some people are being accused of certain areas. It's like the rebel area, where, you know, even one part of the capital was kind of labeled as a rebel area, where one of the ministers even said, look, you know, anyone who is going that area, you need to be properly armed, or that kind of thing. So since the junta took over, how is the situation? Because recently the junta also said one of the things they promised was to bring a dialogue between Guineans, for people to talk, for people to forgive one another. How will you describe the situation right now?
Right. To make it clear and short, no more tension. No more tension, honestly. Tension dropped down.
Really?
No more tension. And you can understand why. Because no political party is ruling the country saying that this is my party, this is your party, and no tension. To be honest, for the moment, no tension. People are just demanding when the transition will finish. That's it.
Are you telling me now the Kominde Ratoma area that was once described as the people where there are rebels, or people where, you know, you're not allowed to do a protest? Are you telling me now in that area everything is calm, everybody, you know, is
calm? Yeah, I assure you guys, everything is calm that area. To make you understand clearly and very simple, very straightforward. And when Doumbouya took power, he was based on that side. He was concentrated on that side. So no more tension, to be honest.
And one thing many Guineans have also welcomed is the abolition of all gates within the country, because wherever they used to go, you know, used to have military barracks, used to have military on the street, gates, you get searched, you get that kind of thing, and everything is gone.
Everything is gone. Doumbouya took everything off, and he gave order to destroy, to take them off, and then to free all political prisoners. They were all freed. So that's why I'm saying no more tension, to be honest. And I don't even go for any further argument on this. This is factual. The tensions are down.
Right. So whilst we had your internet down or whatever communication we had down, I referred to this a little bit. I said people in certain, especially within West Africa, where we've seen quite a few military coups, you find that the electorate itself thinks that politicians and the elite tend to contribute to poverty, and so when they see, I think that has created fertile ground for military coups, especially in recent times, where the military is actually being perceived to be a better option in certain cases. Do you agree with that assumption that this is creating fertile ground for military coups because people think they're better?
Internet is getting,
Did you manage to get that?
Sorry, the line cut off, please. Sorry.
Not to worry, but did you manage to catch any of that? So I was just saying, people say that, you know, the kind of narrative you've given, like you're seeing a lot of peace, people are more comfortable walking around in Conakry, for example. Maybe resources are being shared in a way that people can actually feel they're tangible, and it's not just the elite, because there's a military leader at present. It's alleged that has created a sort of fertile environment in most African countries, especially in West African countries, for military coups, because people are more receptive to that now. They're cynical about politicians. What do you think?
I think no one can be receptive on military coup. But we prefer being in the legal and legitimate regime. That's what everybody in every country prefer. So, but some circumstances, when things happen, you will have to accept it and understand it like it is, because it is factual. And you take it from them, and you take all your analysis from them. But military coups are coming, are getting, being encouraged by militaries themselves. For somehow any reason. Yeah, for some reasons, because you can see your situation or your fellow militaries, your situation, or you are not being taken into consideration or something like that, or you can say that the country is not well ruled and something, and say on and on and on. But the thing is, what is factual, when something happens, you will have to take it like that, especially as we civilians. We have nothing, we have no power to change it, so you just accept it as it is.
You've got no power.
We do not, nobody prefer to be, so no one will prefer to be in an exceptional situation.
In terms of Guinea, Mamadou Bah, how did you guys receive the military? Was the military really needed at the time of the coup d'etat? You know, what was the perception of Guineans when the coup d'etat took place?
You got different view. You got different view of it. You got different view of it. Some, for those ones that were ruling the country, they're obviously not happy.
Well, we're speaking of the majority. But for
the others that feel that they were oppressed. Yeah, but when you take the other part that think that they were oppressed, they were not benefiting anything from the country, so they will say, we welcome this. So this is how it is all over.
You as someone who was not benefiting, or you as a citizen, how did you feel? I'm putting you into the spot here.
Okay, as for me, I will take it globally, to the global situation. I will say that we will welcome the juntas. Why? For some reasons. Because of the way that the country was ruled, and because of this coronavirus thing, and all the country was shut down. And even though it was not that much worse as it is, let me take example from you guys in the UK, where you have thousands of people dying the same day in 24 hours, where we have coronavirus. We have coronavirus since we have coronavirus up to now. We don't have 300 or 400 people that died from coronavirus. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that. I'm not neglecting saying that amount of people that died is not regrettable. We regret it, of course. But and when you see how the political issue was and people were suffering, people were suffering a lot. So that's why most of some of the population, they were obliged to welcome the junta. And let me come back and say, when you take the other part that were ruling the country, obviously they won't be happy. They won't be happy because it's just like you have the pipe, drinking water, and somebody take off the pipe from your mouth. Right. So you won't be happy. So that's how it is.
Brilliant insights. So before we get to Bailo's last question, I'll ask my last question and then we'll close the show after Bailo. I just wanted to get back to the question of our partnerships and resources as a continent, and very specifically with your country, Guinea. Your main partner in the mining industry is China, and so we come back to this problem of the resources curse that, I mean, I think Guinea is probably the second largest producer of bauxite, am I right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, in the world. And so we're again, another classic case of the resource curse. What do you think we should be doing differently so that our citizens could be better empowered through these resources? We're constantly losing out. What should change? Is this an opportunity for transition in your case?
What should really be changed for the population to benefit this is to change some lines of the contracts. The way this exploitation is being done, on this way, it cannot be profitable for the local populations. So the contract needs to be reviewed, and the factories the transformation should be done here in Guinea, and not taking the bauxite and sending it to China and do the transformation there and get use of it. And employment will be created in China, money will be created in China, and everything will be done in China or Dubai or whatever. So all those transformations should be in Guinea, and we building factories and employing people, local people. And if that happens, something like 1, 2, 3 major companies and 4 or 3 major companies, when it happens, people will get employment and people will benefit locally from all that resource that we got in the country. But the way that it's being done, actually, we cannot have a lot of profits. That's why Bailo was saying right now, people keep on protesting. You will always protest if you feel that you are not having benefit of what is being done in your area. And you can see every day thousands of tons of bauxite is going out, and you are not benefiting. But if the transformation was done in Guinea, but we will have more employment, we'll have more benefit, more income for the state, for the government, and everybody will have little benefit of it. More or less, you will have a little benefit of it.
Thank you very much for that.
Of course, the contract should be.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Bah. So my last question to you will be about football. AFCON has just kicked off, which Guinea, of course, is there. Guinea qualified like so many other West African countries. Guinea's first match is going to be Guinea against Malawi, and they are in Group B, yes, i.e. with Senegal, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. What's your analysis of Guinea this year? What's your analysis of Losili National? Where do you think Losili National will be? Last time they were at the tournament, they were able to go up to the quarterfinal.
First of all, right. First of all, I give you the conclusion before coming to details. The conclusion is that we will win the cup this time. We will win the cup. That's obvious because Doumbouya have put in enough money into these guys. They put enough money and said that you will have to win the cup or you bring back our money. So bring back our money or you bring the cup back. So now that was the conclusion. Coming to the details. Today we play in Malawi and we will win, and you guys will see. I really demand you to watch this game today, and it will be time in something like 3 hours. Try to watch the game. Don't miss this game, and you will see what Guinea will do to Malawi today. And I can even give you the prognostic: 2-0.
2-0.
In favor of Guinea.
Thank you very much for that. Just to put this into context, Chiwe, what Mr. Bah was saying, Guinea has been suffering what the population will describe as lack of support from the government. But this year, when Guinea qualified, when they were about to leave the country, the president came over, put them in a hall, spoke to them for about 30 minutes to an hour, encouraging them, saying, look, you are going to represent the country. You are going there representing 15 million of us. There are so many people who would have represented Guinea, but yet we chose you because we rely on you. So just remember, this is an opportunity. This is a privilege that you are representing the country. So you are going there to fight as military men. We risk our life to change things in this country. So we're hoping you guys as well, you are going to a tournament for the football, that you will bring the cup and we'll give you a support. Whatever you need, we'll give you that support. But go there, fight like military men. Remember, you are representing 15 million of us. I just thought to bring that into context for people to understand.
That's really lovely to hear. And I think the meme that went round was talking about how he had actually said he's going to take back the money if they don't bring the trophy. So I think the rest of the world was laughing. And just for the record, I'm team any team from Southern Africa, I'm team that. So team Malawi, team Zimbabwe, bring it home. But for tonight, really grateful to have had you, Mr. Mamadou Aliou Bah. Thanks so much for joining us on African Voices platform.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. And anytime I'm available. I can be anytime available. Thank you very much.
And to you, our viewers, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Until next time, same time again. That was me, Bailo Jallo, and my colleague, Chiwe Chihana.